Ladies and gentlemen, we got him, we have the infinite combo, and that is Solve the Equation. Hello YouTube, welcome to Fine Day. Today we are going to have a look at Kairi the Swirling Sky in Historic Brawl. This deck aims to win by play Kairi the Swirling Sky, use a bunch of copy effects on Kairi, let the copy or the original die to the legend rule and trigger the on-death effect. So Kairi has 2 on-death triggers, and you can only choose one when Kairi dies. First one is when Kairi dies, you can either return any number of target non-land permanents with total mana value 6 or less to their owner's hand, so that helps you catch up on the board, right? Like let's say you're playing against Mono Green Stompy, you block their 6/6, they trade, and then you return the rest of their creatures to their hand, so that it's pretty good. The other mode is the far more important one. You mill 6 cards and then return 2 instant and or sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand. And what are you going to return? You're going to return an instant or sorcery that copies Kairi in one way or another. So something like a Sinister Reflection gives you additional copies of Kairi. You can also get more copies of Kairi with like a Quasiduplicate. And the other one is just going to be your good old friend Time Warp. You know it, you love it. The X return that doesn't exile itself when you cast it. And yeah, that is shenanigans, as you might know, right? So point being, you copy Kairi, you cast Time Warp. Well, no, you do it the other way, to be precise. You cast Time Warp, you copy Kairi, and now you return the Kairi and the copy spell to your hand. Cast Time Warp, copy Kairi, and return them both to your hand, and yeah, you have a loop. While doing so, you are going to mill yourself each time you do this and go to 6. This is usually not a problem in a 100 card deck. The opponent usually just dies because every single turn you can also just swing him with a 6/6 dragon, and it's usually not too much of an issue. But occasionally there is the case of you decking out before you can actually kill the opponent. What do you do then? So by that point, you should have the Sinister Reflections in the graveyard, right? So with the Sinister Reflections in the graveyard, it's pretty pricey, but it is effectively 2 copy spells, because for 1 card you can just get the Kairi twice. And now you can, for 1 rotation, you can return something else than a copy spell to your hand from the graveyard. And that card is going to be Blue Sun Zenith, because remember, you milled yourself. If Blue Sun Zenith is already in your hand, or you you have something like a Solve the Equation to bring it to your hand, you can skip this step. And now in your upkeep, you're going to X = 0 Blue Sun Zenith on yourself, or whatever. And the point is that you shuffle it back into their deck in your upkeep without drawing a card. You're drawing it, and now you can just do your thing over and over and over again, and the opponent is just going to die. So that is pretty neat, and that is the whole point of the deck. The rest is just your classic mono blue Ramshell. We have all the usual suspects on the top end. Sublime Epiphany is a pretty hilarious one, because you can just copy Kairi and return it to hand immediately, and again, something else if you want to, because it is a copy spell. And then it's also just a counter, and it's a repeatable counter. It's a way to technically lock the opponent out of the game if you have enough mana, because you're just going to counter something, copy Kairi, bring Sublime Epiphany back into your hand. Yes, you did spend 6 mana on it, but if you somehow just have enough mana, or you use the Discover the Formula while Epiphany is in your head, now it only permanently costs 5, so that's pretty good. And then you can just repeatedly counter, although it's a bit expensive, but you do get a ton of value from that. Yeah, you have your Fading Hopes, your Spell Pierces, your Stern Dismissals to just stay alive, because that is frankly the most important thing in this deck, just staying alive until you actually do your thing. You also have a ton of ramp, because yeah, you noticed probably all the lines I've described are pretty expensive on mana, so you want to hit your land drops. We only run 40 lands in this deck, but we have 3 double face lands and a bunch of cantrips, so maybe you want to go up a land, but overall we should be fine with all our card draw. Just grab lands basically. Yeah, this is the basic idea with this deck. Let's see how we do in the games. If you enjoy my content, consider liking the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's do it. We are ready to play against Calyx. And, Spell Priest and Arcane Signet is probably what I want in the third. Yeah, I like this hand a lot. Mirage Mirror is another copy spell for Kairi. We have some alternative cool win conditions in this deck. The Mirror Box is an artifact from Kamigawa that, yeah, we don't care about that. The Mirror Box is an artifact from Kamigawa that allows you to ignore the legend rule. So instead of, combing off, we just create a ton of dragons and maybe we win off of that, right? Mindstone. I think I want to Spell Pierce that, because that delays their commander by 1 turn as well. Oh, Salandi Vision. Yeah, I'm going to play that as a land and then the Mirage Mirror tapped. Just be as mana efficient as possible. I can still just like thirst for knowledge and consider to hit my land drops. So with Mirage Mirror it's pretty interesting because we can either let the Mirage Mirror die or, we can let the Kairi die. Then the Mirage Mirror is going to be, it's basically a toss-up between do we want to have Kairi permanently on the field if we let the Mirage Mirror go to the graveyard, or do we want to be able to play Kairi from the command zone again to copy it once more. With that being said, I think I'm just supposed to pass the turn here. I have only instants in my hand, so yeah, let's do exactly that. I have the feeling that my opponent is, like, if I play my commander... no, it was Ward 3. Yeah, actually. I can't just, like, if I get a land, I'm just going to play Kairi here, because I forgot Kairi does have Ward 3, and Ward 3 is not... it's not nothing. Oh, they're missing land drops here, which is amazing for us, because, yeah, it's just great that we countered the Mindstone. I'm going to consider, see what I get. Oh, I like that Midnight Clock. Thirst. Mirrorhall Mimic is what we can discard, and I think we'd rather have the option to draw a card instead of the Brazen Borrower. But I do want to draw a land here. I was thinking if I got a land, like, maybe it was too greedy to keep the Midnight Clock, right? But yeah, no. It's fine, guys, it's fine. Oh, wow, so good at Magic. Yeah, we're just going to drop our commander because they can't just like Calyx and minus on Kairi because it has ward. And now Mirrorhall Mimic. Mirrorhall Mimic is a cool card because you can play the Mimic, copy your commander, and then let it go to the graveyard. And then you can use the Disturb ability to basically get a death trigger of Kairi every single turn. Because you just let the copy die. It is pretty cool. Okay, yeah, we're just going to do that. And I'm going to leave up the Into the Royal or the Mirage Mirror here, depending on what I want. I think I just start beating them down in the air, and then I can Into the Royal their Wolf token. Okay, let's see. I want to bounce the Wolf token in response to them putting a counter on it. Because I feel like they're just going to, like... Well, maybe they're putting a counter on, like, the Fateful Disciple, which I think would be the play here. They're missing 1 mana to remove
any further.
The Kairi. Oh, maybe they're just... Maybe they're just exiling the Mirrorhall Mimic. Nope, they're not. That's pretty cool.
Clothis, show me my path.
Into the north. And here we can now just use Kairi to swing it into their commander. What do you put a counter on, opponent? Is it going to be the Wolf? No, they did it on the Disciple, but let's not take unnecessary damage here. So now create a copy. we want to keep this one. Now this dies, and we can actually return a bunch of things to their hand here. But I feel like I just want to mill here, because I can still return a bunch of stuff with the Mirage Mirror, right? And now we return into the Royal and Thirst, I believe, or maybe just a Wash Away to have a Counterspell available, and yeah, just get Thirst. Oh, discover the formula, man. How much mana do I need for that? I'm missing 1 mana to Mirage Mirror into Discover, but that is fine. Boom, everything costs 1 less. Now I can technically play the Mind Stone for free. Yeah. And we swinging at their commander. Wow, that is mighty powerful what we're doing here. And remember, these cards have perpetually 1 less. Like they cost 1 less to cast forever. So this usually doesn't come up too often in a lot of decks, but it is extremely relevant for this deck, because you're going to play the same card over and over and over and over again, right? Like with Sublime Epiphany, now that it is just insane. Okay, and Narcissus Reverse is also a card that is very much not okay in this deck. It is something. It is for sure something. And now I have the option of like Sublime Epiphany countering, and then I grab the Sublime Epiphany and the Discover the Formula. Now I cast Discover again, reduce the cost of Sublime Epiphany more and more and more, and I don't see a way out for them. Because I think I am just supposed to crack the Mirage Mirror here, just to bounce a bunch of things back to their hand. Oh no, I'm just using this. So return any number of non-land permanents with total mana value 6 or less. So this costs 0, 2, this costs 2, and this costs 2. Yeah. Return all of these to the opponent's hand. And now swing Kairi at Calyx. Maybe I was supposed to not return yet. Yeah, I think I... No, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. It's fine. Because I still have the Mirage Mirror. So do this. Copy. I want to keep this one. Now, mill 6, return. We're going to return Discover the Formula and a... Honestly... Consider? Might be worth considering. And I'm just going to gamble a bit here and hope that we get a land from this. Hey, we did it. Because I really wanted to hit my land trap here. It was a bit greedy, but I think it's fine at the end of the day. I don't need the Tail's End, I believe, and I don't need the... We can just discard Thirst for Knowledge. Oh no, okay, we know we need to discard 1 card. And we have a bunch of counter magic up here. We can just like Wash Away, only cause like, is it just a counter spell if we want to use it so, because costs 1 less, so Cleave is only for double blue. Sure, Restoration of Iganyo. Iganjo or Iganyo? Not sure how to pronounce it in English. Not how I would pronounce it in German. Sure, Ranger class. And yeah, we're digging pretty far into our deck, as you can see. Sanctum Weaver, that's fine. And now I don't have enough mana to, yeah. Just going to Discover the Formula. Reduce the cost of everything again. And, yep. Now, mill 6 cards, return. And we are returning a Solve the Equation for lethal and a Discover the Formula. Because we do have lethal here with a... This. Solve the Equation. We can go... Yeah, we go into Time Warp, and now every single turn... yeah. It is just GG. Infinite turns, infinite damage. We are ready to play against Tatsunari. And this is an interesting hand for sure. Am I supposed to keep this? It has some ramp. I think I like with the opponent going first. I just feel like I can just draw. Like I have everything that I want except things I want to play like later on. Like I have a lot. I have ramp. I have something to like I have a goal, my Kairi, but I don't have anything in between, if that makes sense. Right, and the in-between is something like a Mirage Mirror that I just drew. Like, just something to do with my mana, honestly. Oh man, just too many clone effects. I would love to get a Thirst, just to like draw, discard a bunch of these clones. We have the Mirrorhall Mimic again in the hand. The absolute MVP in this deck, right? It is so insane. Okay, I just want to draw a spell. Search for Scanter, sure. And, yeah. Hidden Archive, just in time. And it's until end of turn, right? Not beginning of next end step. I always like the beginning of next end step thing, otherwise I could just, like, use my mana in the end step here and make the Guardian Idol a Hedron Archive. That would be pretty cool. Let's see. Yep. Honestly? Wait. Currently not sure. I rarely do this. I usually just scrap the whole recording if I think I made a deck building error. Like I did that. And like that actually happens. It doesn't happen that often, but I think I have searched for a Scanter in this deck. If not, I'm going to check the deck and then I'm just going to replace a card. I'm just not sure right now. Anyways, oh, we hit a land drop, so that is pretty great, right? Yeah, just go Kairi, land drop, pass turn. Okay, I do feel decently safe with the Ward 3 here. Man, yeah, Ward 3 actually makes this deck like pretty okay to play. Yeah, with the Ward 3 I just feel so much more comfortable. Just like some form of protection, so you can actually just jam your big threat on curve, right? Okay, the question is... okay, now I don't have any questions. I was going to say, okay, do we like Stern Dismissal before or after or like whatever, and I just want to like Stern Dismissal the Sanctum Weaver so they have less mana to work with. And I think I'm just going with a Mirrorhall Mimic then, just so it's in the graveyard I can use the Disturb effect. But yeah, overall, you need to go. Please go back. Now, what we could also go with Spark Double and just like terrorize them in the sky, basically. I think that's a fun plan. But no, we go with an actual copy effect because like if Spark Double was my plan, I could have just like Spark Double and play a copy spell, but I really wanted to play the Stern Dismissal, so I have way less mana with the Sanctum Weaver here. So I keep this one so the Mimic goes to the graveyard. I mill myself for 6. I return a Thirst for Knowledge and a, yeah sure, Stern Dismissal to my hand. And now I am just going to play a Mirage Mirror maybe? Or just pass the turn. Yeah, no, just pass the turn. Because I can actually block here, and I do value my life total in this matchup, like somewhat. I recently did a Tatsunari Toad Rider video, and yeah, I just, you know, drained the opponent out. So I'm kind of respecting that from the opponent. Primeval Bounty, sure. And if nothing happens, like I am kind of representing a counterspell here. Sure. Do I just thirst in response to dig deeper because I think they're going to take my thirst? Sure, I'm just going to thirst in response. Discard the U. And to the opponent, it looks like, oh man, why did you thirst in response? But like my hand was just like clone effects and then the thing they would have taken anyways. So I'm using this to dig deeper into my deck, and I don't mind too much. Like if this Brawl's expertise lands in my graveyard, yep, that is exactly what they took. It is not too bad, simply for the fact that I can just return it to my hand. So what? Druid class, sure. And they're going to play the Sanctum Weaver again. If they are like, oh, I can just attack with Tetsunari and make Kaimi and the Tetsunari unblockable. No, you can't. It's not unblockable. It's just like, can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. And Kairi has, you know, flying. Don't do it, opponent. Okay, just a thirst for meaning. That's respectable. Do I have Search for Scat on this deck? I don't know. I don't know. Mirrorhall Mimic, and I have enough mana to go with the Supreme Will here. And I think I'm just going to Supreme Will for a land drop. So Supreme Will, yeah. I was going to say is there no land drop? No, there is. Otawara, Soaring City, land drop, boom, Mirrorhall Mimic. And now I have a... no, honestly, I'm just going to win eventually, right? So, no need to rush anything. Yeah, now I have a Stern Dismissal. I could have Stern Dismissal their Search for Escanta, right? So they get a bit less filtering, but if they now use a, like, spell in response to trigger, try to put the top into the graveyard and then just flip it, then I would have, like, Stern Dismissal it here. But I like this a bit more, because if they go with the Sanctum Weaver again, or, you know, something like a Shark Typhoon, that's exactly the kind of thing that I would be afraid of. I can just Stern Dismissal the Typhoon. And I'm doing this now. I believe they haven't made the land drop yet, so if they get blue for a counterspell, that would be annoying. But they currently just have green open. Okay, so they basically just got time walked. It was like we did an extra turn, because they did a whole lot of nothing there. And now, like, the mill 6 part of this ability is what makes it actually so good, because we're just like turbo digging for that extra turn now, and as soon as you get the extra turn, it's over. So it's pretty great. Ah, no. Yeah. Ah, man. That's sad. I could have saved this. Stern Dismissal specifically says an opponent controls. Okay, that happens, and I'm going to cycle this Censor. Man, that was sad. Draw a card here, and now we have a bunch of copy effects. What do we have here? I think... Again, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to dig or just clone a bunch of Kairis. I mean, now let's just, you know, go with this. Now we have a second Kairi. Go with this. Boom. Another Kairi. Swing in. And we're just trying to kill them here. And try to overpower their Shark Typhoon. Maybe that's not the plan. Also, maybe I was supposed to, with the first Vizier, let it go to the graveyard, and then I can use the Embalm ability out of the graveyard, right? Now I don't have the ability to just, like, use a second copy. So maybe I was supposed to, you know, let this go to the graveyard, and then I should have led on it instead, like... I should have started the turn with it instead of wasting my mana on the Spark Double. Sandworm Convergence. Creatures with flying can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. Sure, you got it. That is not something I'm necessarily concerned by, because I have the Stern Dismissal here. Because now I'm just going to dig with the Memory Deluge for another copy spell, right? But I currently can't attack them, which is pretty interesting. Except, you know, I can. I actually can. So I'm going to hold full control here. I need to double colorless and the rest needs to be blue. So into the royal, copy, kicked, draw, put into hand. And now I have another into the roll that I can use at their end step. Draw a card here. Well, that's the tail's end. Neat. And so that's 6, 7. How much? 13 and then 13 again. Yeah, let's. I'm going to swing with everything. I know it's lethal if I just attack with 2 and then everything in the air again next turn. But this way, I basically have full control over the situation. Because yes, I'm at 20 and they have a decent amount of power on board, right? But if they attack and then attempt to like do anything, like if they try to lock me out with the Sandworm conversions, I can just bounce that. So, and if they want to go for extra damage, I can also like just bounce their creatures. Yep. Oh, that is. I'm just going to block. I'm just going to tail them the shark here. So they just get to draw a card, go to 8, and face lethal next turn potentially. And if they play the Sandworm conversions, I'm going to... Oh yeah, they activated Surgical Scatter. They are desperately digging for something here. If they were playing the Sandworm conversions here, then I would have just into the road without kicking it, so I have 2 more mana up to play around the Spell Pierce. Because, like, if the Into the World resolves, I just win anyways, right? So, there is no need to, like, draw a card. Right? So... Let's see, what do they get? What do they have? Potentially nothing. Maybe something. Let's see, let's see. Actually. Yeah, okay. Heartless Act. Well, that's a pricey removal spell, don't you say, opponent? Costs 5. Yeah, sure. That happens. So they could have double removal spell here, actually. That's pretty cool. But if that happens, I just get a ton of cards back. I can also just bounce their board. Just overall, it's getting nasty. Opponent's time is ticking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if I use the interior roll to bounce this worm now, I'm not blocking the Sandworm conversions. I think I'm supposed to. Oh damn it! I messed up. I was supposed to tap double blue here, block with this on the, like, just take less damage and then crack the Mindstone to draw a card, I believe. Or maybe it's just better to not crack the Mindstone and, you know, just have the mana. If they go exactly Thoughtseize, or, you know, Duress in that case, because they already used Thoughtseize, if they use Duress and then Sandworm Convergence, I'm in a lot of trouble, but I couldn't have played around that anyways, I believe. I still have the Memory Deluge to do my thing here. Maybe they have a Pact of Negation. That could be troublesome. But then I also can't play around that, so maybe I could have made a bit better by not jumping there, then use my mana this turn, let it get countered, and then Memory Deluge to have more mana for the copy spell, and then play the card from the graveyard. Not that it matters. Again, I think I just win here. So into the Royal. Yeah, and that is the GG. Good game. We are ready to play against Killian. And I did, in fact, forgot to put in the Search for Sky into the deck. I cut the Consuming Tide currently for it, because I feel like if I'm like... I just cut something for it. It's not even guaranteed that the Consuming Tide is the correct cut. I just currently a bit short on time here. Anyways. Stern Dismissal. I'm not sure of what kind of Killian deck this is. Stern Dismissal is potentially really good, or, you know, not that good. There are two kinds of Killian decks. First and foremost, there is Killian Voltron, and then there is like Killian target and kill your stuff. So, with that being said, Ward doesn't... Like, if they target... So, like, if they use a Swords to Plowshares on Kairi, they still have to pay 3 extra instead of 1 extra because Ward is a trigger. And, you know, doesn't actually reduce, increase the cost of the spell. Anyways, do I keep this? Do I not? I go first, so I'm more inclined to mulligan this. Yeah, this is way better. Yeah, this is exactly what I want. Beautiful, beautiful. And Otawara, not being a spell, can be pretty nice. Also, Otawara is colorless for the sake of, you know, God's Willing, if they try to protect Killian. But Cold Steel Heart on blue. And yeah, this hand is something. It's really nasty. But I'm not going to hold the Otawara just to, like, you know, deal with the Killian, I believe? I think? Maybe I am. No, I'm obviously just playing the land over the Otawara and can hold it. I was just saying, like, okay, what happens if I just don't get something here? Next turn, I can do the absolute power move of Brawl's expertising, returning things. Oh my god. Okay, they're on life gain deck. Because this is... Yeah, that's all true. There are also the life gain versions. Oh my god, this is so incredibly nasty, guys. So Brawl's expertise, returning these two, putting a Narset into play. Yup. Now that doesn't get contested. Holy moly. I get the... Oh, well... Yeah, I'm actually going for that. Oh, yeah. Oh, beautiful. I'm so glad that I put the Search for Sky into the deck. And now I'm just going to play the tapped Saloni Vision. And, this worked out so well. Wow, this is brutal, because now I bounce all the creatures and I'm guaranteed to get another Narset activation here. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's start on that. Narset. I think I do want the Spell Priest here. I feel like they are holding up something. Okay. Land. I could go Kairi. But nah, I'm just going to do Search for Escanta and then hold up the Otawara, or just Blue Sun Zenith myself for 2. And yes, I could have Blue Sun Zenith myself for 4 here as well, but I just feel like I really wanted to get the Search for Escanta into play. That is basically my thinking here. If they kill the Narset, I think I'm cooler with it. Black-White is not known to draw a ton of cards. Yeah, like, yeah, they know it themselves. They don't have card draw really in their deck, so... Yeah, they go face. So Narset stays into play, sure. In play. Griffin Airy. Beginning of end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn. Yeah, that might be troublesome. I want to counter that. And I think I'm going to just cycle this Blue Sun Zenith for 1 card, actually. Fading Hope, fine. Oh, that is something for sure. Otawara, just hit my land drops. And... yeah. Next turn, I can solve the equation. They remove Kairi. I'm kind of fine with that, except exile, right? But like for example, if they have a Heartless Act, the Heartless Act effectively costs 4 instead of 3, as some people might think. That's a Baneslayer Angel, actually. Oh wow. That's a big beetle in the sky. Guess what I don't care about? It has protection from dragons, so guess what this is? It's a dragon. So I'm just going to Fading Hope the Baneslayer, just, you know, try to win on the tempo. Veto. And they're hitting me for 4 each turn. That is not nothing. Stern Dismissal. Yeah, actually what I want, I think. Solve the equation. Boom. Now we are searching for a copy spell, I believe. And the cheapest one would be just Quasiduplicate. Nice, nice. I'm going to do this. I'm going to bounce. Yep. And copy Kairi. We leave you on the field. We milled 6, return 2 again. So we return the Quasiduplicate. And the Fading Hope again. Oh no, we already had a bounce spell. Maybe it's just solve the equation then. Yeah. And we just don't attack. We just want to like stay super safe here. The Demon's Disciple. I can just you know, sacrifice the Narset to that. That's unfortunate. I'm sorry, opponent. Also, if Kairi just died, wouldn't be too bad. But oh yeah, land. Yeah, transform search, and now we got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. We have the infinite combo, and that is solve the equation for a time warp. So we just time warp now. Yep, get the extra turn. Swing in. Next turn. And now this Quasiduplicate. Boom. Keep you. And going to return 2 to hand. Whoops. Yep, you. So mill 2 now. We are returning Time Warp and Quasiduplicate. We are going to Time Warp. Oh, we're going to Time Warp. Boom. And we can actually just Quasiduplicate again. And that way we just generate more and more card advantage. Well, there is a Mirrorhall. So Time Warp and Quasiduplicate. And the way we're like generating card advantage here is now we start the turn with like our setup in hand already. So I can go extra turn, Quasiduplicate. Yep. Keep you around. And we're on 55 cards here. So we return Quasiduplicate and Time Warp. And now we have the additional Quasiduplicate here. Keep you. Mill 6. And you see like our graveyard is filling up extremely quickly. And the way we break free from this is we use a Sinister Reflection and a leave solve the equation. Swing it. Go face. And Sinister. Now we have, you know, more Kairis to work with. Oh no, it doesn't put 2 Kairis into our hand. I forgot. It's a weird card. It's up to 2 creatures. So it doesn't put 2 Kairis into our hand. I was mistaken. Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. So apparently lied to all of you. Solve the equation. We get a blue Sun Zenith. And now we can't die anymore. Because we have enough mana for this. Because we have enough mana to just do our extra turn for 8 mana, and then in our upkeep we're just going to blue Sun Zenith ourselves. Not that it matters, because we are just going to Quasiduplicate. Yeah, and that is the game. Whoops. Reading cards is hard. GG. We are done with the games. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did. And yeah, Kairi the Swirling Sky is not something I expected to be, you know, an actual commander in this format. And I looked at the card and I was just like, oh, that's just another non-commander, right? There's just some legendaries that are just not good as commanders at all, but this was a sleeper and it was a really cool one. Like mono blue, sacrifice your commander tribal, and it is a lot of fun. So again, I am sorry for 2 errors I did. First and foremost, and in fact, Sinister Reflection does give you 2 copies, but only of different cards. So the way the way you want to use this optimally is you have 2 Kairis out on the field, and then you can use it to get 2 copies, right? And you only get 2 Kairis simultaneously with a Spark Double or a Mirror Box. So that is something to head out for. It's still a card that you want in the deck because you need instant sorceries that actually copy your commander to actually loop. So this is obviously way more expensive than a Quasiduplicate to copy. It's 8 mana in total instead of 3. But it's still something you want in the deck probably. And the other one is like I replaced Consuming Tide with a Citrus Canter, because that should have been 100% in the deck in the first place. So yeah, sorry for that, but no time to re-record this time, so we just do it freestyle basically. Anyways, if you want to build this deck on a budget, what can you cut, what do you need? And this is very similar to the Jinga Taxes list, very similar to the Tezzeret list in a way. You like all these 3 decks share like 50% of the cards. Like the top end is mostly the same. The mana base is not too different, right? You have your classic like 1 mana bounce spells. You have your like Swan Songs to stay alive. You have your ramp pieces. Like it's usually mono blue ramp, and then what flavor do you want to ramp into? And I'd say the flavor of putting a lot of dragons into a blender and just seeing what comes out, yeah, that's a pretty good flavor if you ask me. And it is it is a really cool deck. Yeah, here. So you want the ramp pieces, but you don't necessarily need these ramp pieces, right? Mirror Box we didn't get to see in action. We got one game where we just like did see like Spark Double, like just killing somebody in the air. But honestly, I think I could have also just won that game if I just sacrificed the Kairis instead of just copying the Spark Double. And it is basically the same with the Mirror Box. Like, you can play those 2 cards, Spark Double and Mirror Box. It's just how much additional benefit do you really get from, not sacrificing them? Because you saw how much power, like how much card advantage filtering, the degenerate your stuff you can do if you actually let them go to the graveyard. It's something that you kind of want. So you can't play them, but they're definitely not needed for the deck. What is needed for the deck 100% is you want your cheap cards to stay alive, the staples like Swan Songs, Memories. You want top end in this deck, but whereas other decks, like, you want specific top ends here. You're not the kind of deck that says, oh wow, a Jinga Taxes, I want that, right? And then you play it in Kinnan decks or whatever as well. It's not a deck that needs Hullbreaker Horror. It is a deck that you really want to discover the formula in, as you saw, right? You want your extra turns, and weirdly enough, Sublime Epiphany is a pretty good card in this deck just because it copies, right? So like usually cards that I don't necessarily recommend to craft, meaning, Sublime Epiphany in this case, are pretty nice in this deck. Again, extra turns, you want a bunch of ramp, like you see how mana hungry this deck is, you want your ramps, so something like a Gilded Lotus or a Key of the Archive go a long way. And then if you have them, you can just build something like Oswald or whatever. You need your Blue Sun Zenith to, like, as soon as you go infinite, you saw how fast we're milling ourselves, so you then need the Blue Sun Zenith. Yes, if somebody has 25 life, that might not matter too much, but if they have like 25 lives and like 10 flyers or something like that, you need to punch through first, or if they're like a life gain deck, then you absolutely need the Blue Sun Zenith to stay alive and not mill yourself. Anything that says copy on it is basically mandatory. You just want a really high critical mass of these effects, and I think we're just barely there. You want the Narset's Reversal because you can just... What Narset's Reversal allows you to do is, if you do not have the Time Warp, you can still go infinite in turns with a Karn's Temporal Sundering, for example. The way this works is you play its Temporal Sundering and then reverse it back to your hand, and then you, instead of having Time War plus copy in your graveyard, you have Narset's Reversal and copy in your graveyard. You just Narset's Reversal the Temporal Sundering or the Other's Epiphany back to your hand, and that works as well, right? The mana rock wise, again, just any mana rocks will do basically, but there are not too many. Like, there is none that's like a big mana rock like Lotus. You want your staples, and yeah, I feel like I rambled a bit more than usual. I'm pretty excited for this deck. It is certainly something, but it is also, not gonna lie, an expensive deck, because the cards you really need for the deck to actually make the deck function are the cards you usually don't have, right? Like Quasiduplicate is not a card that most people own. Like, you know, Vizier of Many Faces, who has that? But these are the cards you absolutely need for the deck to work, but you really want the staples just because they're staples and, you know, they keep you alive. So do you want a working deck that has a deck that has problems staying alive, or do you want a deck that does nothing but is really good at doing so? So yeah, it's kind of a toss-up, and hope you enjoyed today's video. See you in the next one.